Nation Interrupted, an alternate history novel by Kevin McDonald. Read by Dylan Walker. Chapter 28, Friday, 01 August, 1941. As he walked the halls of the Navy Department in Washington, D.C., Lieutenant Commander Mike Crawford was sure his career was finished. 24 hours earlier, he had been recalled from his naval attaché post in Havana. His stomach was in knots as he entered the Office of Naval Intelligence. The receptionist looked up from her desk. "May I help you, Commander?" "Yes, ma'am. I'm Lieutenant Commander Crawford, here to see Captain Fuller." "Oh, yes. He's expecting you," she said in an ominous tone. "Follow me." As the receptionist led him down one of several passageways leading from the outer office, Mike Crawford, dressed in a summer white uniform, felt conspicuous among other naval officers, all wearing service dress blues. "Here we are," the receptionist said, stopping outside Captain Fuller's office. She knocked lightly on the open door. "I have Lieutenant Commander Crawford here, Captain." "Send him in," came a brusque voice from inside the office. The receptionist stepped aside, clearing the doorway. As Crawford turned sideways and slid past her into the office, she looked at him somberly, as if she were sending him to his execution. With his hat tucked under his left arm, Crawford marched to the front of Captain Fuller's desk and stood at attention. "Lieutenant Commander Crawford reporting as ordered, sir." Fuller sat quietly, reading an open file folder on his desktop. Crawford continued to stand at attention. After several uncomfortable minutes, Fuller looked up at him with a stern expression on his face. "You're out of uniform, mister. The uniform here in Washington is service dress blues." Crawford was taken aback. The term mister was customarily used when addressing officers below the rank of lieutenant commander. "My apologies, Captain. I only arrived from Havana several hours ago. It won't happen again." "Do you know why you're here, Commander?" "I'm not exactly sure, sir." Fuller rose and walked to the front of his desk. He placed his face directly in front of Crawford's. "You're not sure, Commander?" "Well, I'm not positive, sir. You see," Crawford relaxed his posture before continuing. "You see, sir, I didn't tell you to stand at ease, Commander." Crawford snapped back to attention. He wasn't accustomed to being treated like a junior officer. "Sorry, sir. You see, I have an idea why I'm here, but I'm not certain." "Were you certain the Germans had overrun Cuba, Commander?" Fuller took a step back and paused. He turned and walked back to the chair behind his desk. He motioned toward the chair next to Crawford. "Oh, hell, son. Sit down." Crawford sat. "Do you realize what you've done, Commander? You didn't just go outside your chain of command and embarrass those of us in this office. You embarrassed the United States Navy. You dishonored the entire United States military. Hell, son, what you did was tantamount to treason. Did you think we wouldn't find out you called the head of the Confederate military? What in God's name were you trying to accomplish?" "I'm sorry, Captain. I didn't know what else to do. I had a good relationship with General Eisenhower back when I taught at the Citadel. I guess I thought he might be able to advise me on how to proceed." "Proceed with what, Commander?" "I know you don't believe me, sir, but something's going on in Cuba. Something big. But I can't confirm it if I'm stuck inside the embassy. I need to get out into the interior of the island and do some digging." "Well, you can forget about that. You won't be returning to Cuba. You've been relieved as naval attaché." Crawford sat silently. After several seconds, he stood. He once again placed his hat under his arm and snapped to attention. "Is that all, sir?" "No, Commander Crawford, that is not all." Captain Fuller took no pleasure in what he was about to say. He had read Crawford's heretofore exemplary service record. His demeanor suddenly shifted from anger to solemnity. "Crawford, you've been reassigned to my staff pending your court-martial. Report back to my office Monday morning. We'll set you up with a temporary admin assignment." As Lieutenant Commander Crawford walked dejectedly from Captain Fuller's office, a lieutenant on Fuller's staff passed him in the passageway. "Afternoon, Commander." Crawford didn't even look at him. Lieutenant Hank Wilson shrugged off Crawford's breach of etiquette. He stopped outside Fuller's office and rapped on the door. "Come on in, Hank." Sir, we just received an unusual communication from our CSA counterparts in Richmond. I thought you should see it right away. What is it? They transmitted a series of facsimiles to us. Lieutenant Wilson handed a red file folder to Captain Fuller. They're aerial reconnaissance photos from the southern ports in Cuba. I think you'd better take a look at them. As darkness fell across southern France, the final chess pieces were being moved into place for the start of Operation Atlantis. At a dozen Luftwaffe airfields, wave after wave of German bombers launched into the western sky. Normally, the medium-range Hinkle bombers from these airfields would have turned north and headed across the English Channel for nighttime raids over England. But these were not Hinkles. These bombers were long-range Messerschmitt Me-264s. They would not turn north for England. They would continue west across the Atlantic, all the way to their staging fields in Puerto Rico. With a staggering maximum range of 9,320 miles, Adolf Hitler had finally dubbed the Messerschmitt Me-264 his America bomber. In less than 48 hours, the Me-264s headed for America's doorstep would have an opportunity to live up to their billing.